Hi, my name is Charlie Clark. I'm 40 years old. I was born and raised in the beautiful Willamette Valley in Oregon. And I'm really blessed that I was raised in a God-fearing Christian home and a solid church family. But when I was in my early 20s, I decided that God was not working fast enough for me. I had watched many of my friends get married, and I didn't understand why I was still single, which is really funny because I was very young. um, but anyway, I decided to do things my own way. And what started as just a slow, gradual progression, I woke up one day to find that I had done practically everything I had always sworn I would never do. I had been saving everything for my future husband, and then just like that, I squandered it. And I was spiraling in alcoholism. I was pregnant out of wedlock, and I was living with my Muslim boyfriend, all of which I knew God did not approve of. I went through a period of time where I really felt quite despairing over my life choices. I knew I had flushed God's plans for my life down the toilet, or so I thought. And I honestly didn't believe that there was a plan left for me. And I turned to God in my despair, and I asked Him to show me what it was that He wanted me to do. And I begged Him to let me serve Him in just a small way. I didn't care how small it was. I just needed to know that I could still bring Him glory and honor. And the Lord told me something that I really was not prepared for. He spoke to me and He said, from the time you were young, I gave you giftings and I gave you talents, and I sent other people into your life to mentor you, to light a spark, to water and tend these gifts, help you develop them, and you have done nothing with them. And just like in the parable of the 10 talents, I am ready to come and take back what I have given to you because you have not been a faithful steward. And I was surprised, and I asked the Lord, I said, what is it that you want me to do? And He spoke to me and said, you're going to write a book series. I was getting really excited and about life again. I was sharing Christ with my Islamic husband, and he was actually listening. But there reached a crossroads where he made his choice, and he decided that he didn't care about what was true and what was not. He simply did not want to lose his family, his connections, everything and everyone he knew he would lose if he chose Christ. And as he hardened his heart towards God, his heart towards me became equally hard, and he became incredibly abusive. And in the months that followed, I found myself dealing with so much emotional and psychological abuse that I actually lost my short-term memory for a period of time. The emotional, psychological whiplash was just such that my psyche could not handle it, couldn't keep up with it. And during that time, my husband, there were many ways in which he threatened me physically, and even threatened to kill me, and it became very frightening. And then to cover it up, he suggested that I was unstable and that I needed to be hospitalized. And I realized that he was setting a case against me to have my parental rights taken away in the event of a divorce. And it became very scary. And I remember feeling like I was teetering on the edge of losing my sanity. And there was one night I was driving home and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to get out of the situation that I was in. And I didn't feel safe to turn to anyone because of the way that my husband was manipulating everything and everyone around me. But I do remember the Lord meeting me as I was driving in my car on the way home and saying, now is a time for you to worship. Just worship me. I will meet you. I will get you through this. And he did. And I spent about a month planning my escape with my daughter. Went back to Oregon. And there was one day I just felt like I could not take it anymore. And I prayed and I said, I'm too exhausted. I just can't handle it anymore. I can't handle the suspense, the fear, the just all this worry and heartache. And I prayed a prayer I'm not proud of. I said, Lord, I'm asking that today you send a semi-truck to hit and kill me before I get home from work. And I went through my work day and I honestly forgot that I had prayed that prayer. And at the end of my shift, I left the lab I was working at, and I'm sitting in my car at the intersection. I'm just exhausted. My light turns green and my foot slowly goes down on the gas pedal. And as soon as my foot goes down, I heard the Lord call me and he said, stop, turn and look to your left and make certain that no one is running a red light. And I'm still just exhausted and I'm kind of, what, huh? And I just barely started to turn to my left, and all of a sudden there was this huge whoosh through the intersection. This huge semi-truck barreled through the intersection. It had run a red light. My light had been green for a long time. And I literally, my car was shaking and my heart was shaking in my chest. And I remember the Lord saying to me, that was the answer to your prayer. Are you sure that that is what you want? Because I have worked overtime to keep you alive. There have been many other instances in my life, situations where I shouldn't have walked away from, and God had continually been there for me. And it almost kind of irritated me because my life at that point seemed very meaningless and very pointless, and it didn't make sense that God was working so hard to keep me alive when all I did was mess things up. But I do remember the Lord speaking to me and saying, you may not understand what is going on. You may not see the plans that I have for you, but you just need to trust that I have plans that you don't see. And don't give up and just trust me. I want to thank you for listening, watching, and this is just part 1 of the story. If you would like to hear part 2, we invite you to come back to the Real Conference next year, July 15th and 16th, 2022. We look forward to seeing you then.